Better relationships. Guys, a few questions just to start off with. Let me ask you this. How fulfilled are you in your relationship right now? How long can you go without fighting in your relationship? How long can you go and have a lot of fun in your relationships? These are good questions to be asking yourself to help yourself evaluate how to have a better relationship. So I think there's a few things we want to talk about how can you have a better relationship, a more fulfilled relationship. Number one, let's start with, what does it mean to have a bad relationship? Again, how often are you fighting? How often are you frustrated, irritated? What percentage of the time do you feel mad about your relationship? What percentage of the time do you think about how fulfilled you're not in that relationship? That might lead more into kind of a bad relationship type category, where I find a lot of people are struggling with that. A high percentage of people are really struggling with bad relationships. And now I really want to talk about the difference between a content relationship and a happy relationship. Content relationships is really what I find for most people. Most people have content relationships where maybe they're not fighting, maybe they're existing together, they're having a good time. Maybe you've been married for a while, so maybe you're having a content relationship where again, nothing's really good, nothing's really bad. Really, the thing about a content relationship is it has the void of pain. A lot of people have had so many painful relationships that they get into a relationship where they just don't feel pain. Again, maybe they're not feeling the happiness side of a relationship, but maybe they're just feeling the contentment where there's a lack of pain. So maybe you're spending time together. Maybe you're going to movies, you're coming home from work, you're sitting down, you guys are watching TV, but you're not really reacting. I find that in today's world, this is super common with all the distractions that we have today. We have our TVs to keep us busy. We have our cell phones to keep us busy. We have our and so many apps, so more apps than you can count now, right on your phones. For me, my temptations in this is like Bleacher Report and which is a sports was ESPN and searching on Safari all types of watching videos about how to be a better person and whatever I'm interested. Watching fishing videos, whatever. There's so many things that can distract us from having a fulfilled relationship. How distracted are you? That would be one of the biggest questions you could ask yourself in a content relationship. One of the things that I teach people and I talk a lot about is from contentment. See, there was pain in the beginning to get to a content relationship where you didn't feel pain anymore. But from getting a content relationship to a fantastic, fulfilling, great relationship, there is pain in between, and that pain is work. How much time are you spending working on your relationships? How much time are you actually making sure that you're writing writing notes to each other and texting one another and talking and turning off the television and turning off your phones? I heard a story that will make all men feel like bad husbands, but I feel like I should tell it because it really emphasizes for me what it takes to have a really fulfilling relationship. There's a guy who works for me. He just got married, so maybe we'll give him, it's harder as you get older, but he just got married, and from the day he got married, he wrote his wife a love letter every single day, and he put it in a book for their whole year. And on their first anniversary, he had never said a word about it and never told her anything, and he had given her this book on their first year anniversary. These are the types of things that lead to having a fulfilling relationship, a great relationship, a relationship that you can hang your hat on, that you can feel proud of. And I can only imagine how that made his wife feel. A couple things that it takes to have really good relationships, because right now I don't want you to just go out and think this is a work ethic thing, because it's really not. And that's where most people are going to take you, and that's an important part of having a fulfilling relationship. But what I want to talk more about is a couple things that it really takes to have a good relationship. And first and foremost, you really have to understand yourself in order to have a good relationship. Do you understand yourself? Do you know the decisions you're going to make? Do you know what makes you fight? Do you know what your automatic reactions are? Do you know yourself? Do you know your personality type? Do you know your wife's personality type? Do you know her love language? Do you know your love language? Have you studied and have you actually spent time studying your way of life and the way you do things? Because once you start to understand yourself, you're going to actually understand what you actually want. Because I find a lot of people don't know what they want. They don't know what kind of relationship they want. They don't know what they need to feel fulfilled in a relationship. Some people just like spending time. Some people like gifts. You know, you have to really do the research to know yourself. And in our classes, we spend a lot of time talking about ourselves and how to understand ourselves. Number 2, do you understand your spouse, your children, your coworkers? Do you understand them? Have you taken the time to really understand them? Because as you learn to understand yourself first and know yourself, and then you start to understand people around you, you're going to understand the world around you. And as you understand the world around you, you're going to start to get what you want out of these relationships. I find that a lot of people are working to have better relationships, but they're working in the wrong way. So for me as a promoter, what do I want the most? And we talk a lot about this kind of stuff in our trainings. But what do I want as a promoter? Honestly, I just want my wife to think that my ideas are the coolest thing in the whole wide world. And if she says that's a great idea, you're the best, I'm almost totally fulfilled on that one thing alone. The problem is what's my wife fulfilled by? She's not fulfilled by me thinking all of her ideas are absolutely the best. She's fulfilled more by me spending time, taking time to maybe write a love letter, taking time to think more about it. I'm the type of person, if in my normal self, who I really am, I'm the type of person on the day before my wife's birthday to just go and buy a bunch of stuff and like show up and like, hey, here's all this stuff. Because honestly, that's how I expect people to buy for me. But that's not what my wife likes. My wife doesn't like for me to just go and haphazardly buy stuff. She would rather me have one really good thought out gift. But here's the thing, when it comes to my birthday, what's my wife going to do? She's going to buy me one really thought out gift. So how much time are you spending giving people what you want and having them give you what they want? You can work all day long, but if you don't understand what you want, and if you don't understand what the people around you want and what they need to feel fulfilled, you're not going to be able to have fulfilling relationships. If you're hearing this for the first time, you're probably having a flashback of your whole life in front of you where you're going, yeah, I give my spouse this. And my spouse gives me this. So like I said, all I want is, I want to be trusted. That's kind of one of the biggest things that I want. How much time am I spending giving my wife trust? Oh, I just want to trust and yeah, whatever you do is the best and you should do this and yeah, you're the best, awesome. How much time am I spending giving that? All day long, because that's what I want. The more I learn about people and the people around me, I can start to understand, one, what I want and what they want, which can lead me, and has led me, to having extremely fulfilling relationships. And like I said, you may be having this flash in front of your eyes. How much time are you spending giving what you need versus giving what somebody actually needs? It's funny to me because in my relationships, it's funny because I can go and work all day long and try so hard and get very minimal results. Or once I actually understand somebody, I can do the minimalist of things, the smallest things, and get giant results out of these things based on how much I know. As you start to learn about yourself and as you start to learn about people, you're going to start to understand how to have fulfilling relationships. And that's really what our classes are about and the things that we do. They're really about people having really, really fulfilling relationships and learning about themselves and others so that they can accomplish that. So that is really how I believe that you can have much better relationships.